But that's not all that's happening in China. And again, this is all part of the social control mechanism here and conditioning the masses, especially the young people.
Since the beginning of time, man has yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out.
Climate change. Climate change.
Mass extinction.
This is from nzherald.co.nz. It's a New Zealand outlet. And the headline here, extreme China heat wave could lead to global chaos and food shortages. Okay. We didn't see that one coming, huh? Cars, batteries, solar panels, food. Global shortages and soaring prices are almost certain as China's seemingly never-ending heat wave sears on. It's the most extreme heat event ever recorded in human history. For more than 70 days, the intense heat has blasted China's population, factories, and fields. Lakes and rivers have dried up. Crops have been killed. Factories have been closed, except for the robots that keep working because they don't care about how hot it gets. More than 900 million people across 17 Chinese provinces are subjected to record-breaking conditions. From Sichuan in the southwest to Shanghai in the east, temperatures have been topping 40 degrees Celsius, which is, wow, that's very high. In the Sichuan city of Dazhou, an air raid shelter has been converted into a heat refuge. In Chongqing, subway stations are opening to offer subterranean recovery stops, but the extreme heat and dry weather are having far-reaching effects. Energy, water, and food supplies are being hit across the country. Rivers are drying up, dams are emptying, hydroelectric plants are shutting down. And there's a shocking picture of the drought in China. And if there's any government that would really test the abilities of their geoengineering technology, it would be China. As horrible as guys like Newsom and all these folks are, in my opinion, are they evil enough to scorch their own citizens? I don't know. Maybe not. But in China, seems to be a thing. But, the other part of it is that this is somebody in the U.S., dialing it up. Hey, China, you gave us the pandemic. How's this super UV light to roast all your citizens? Signs of things to come. The Sichuan megacity of Chongqing, home to some 30 million people, reached a top of 45 degrees Celsius on August 15th. That's gotta be like 110, 20. Hold on, I'm going to do the math here. 120 was what came off the top of my head, but that sounds ridiculous. But let me just do the conversion to make sure here. Let's see. And I know some of you guys probably know this by heart. I used to know it by heart. Oh, I'm way off. Close. 45 degrees Celsius is 113 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot, folks. That is scorching. Let's see. These are the highest temperatures China has recorded outside the occupied desert province in Xinjiang. Quote, there's nothing in world climatic history which is even minimally comparable to what is happening in China, weather historian Maximiliano Herrera told New Scientist. Quote, this combines the most extreme intensity with the most extreme length with an incredibly huge area, all at the same time. Electricity demand for cooling has spiked. At the same time, production has plummeted. Not enough water is flowing through hydroelectric power turbines. Nuclear power plants are struggling to keep their reactors cool. Chinese sources state that some 66 rivers have dried up completely. Interesting number. 66 rivers have completely dried up. And parts of the critical Yangtze River system are at a third of their normal levels. A third, huh? The lowest since the record began in 150 years ago. And it goes on, and you got these videos showing how hot it is in China. And supply chains are broken. And food supply will shut down. The Empire Strikes Back. China's Communist Party is saying it is taking resolute action to combat the crisis. It has ordered water to be released from its Himalayan reservoirs. They have Himalayan reservoirs? I didn't know that. An intense program to fire cloud seeding agents in the sky, into the sky is underway. There you go. Where's my geo? I should have had my geoengineering thing too. But yeah, this is, interesting again, how we look at problem, reaction, solution. And, look, cloud seeding has been a thing for a while, for decades at the very least. But to find a whole nation in a situation where they're openly saying, we got a cloud seed to get the rains going, it is just telling the rest of the world, hey, we can control the weather. All this fear about climate change, this, climate change, that. And similar to the problem, reaction, solution in transhumanism, where it's like, people get cancer. We're not going to necessarily solve it for you. We can treat it. We're not going to get to the source of the issue, but hey, we can do all these radiation treatments and things like that. Same kind of thing, right? Using cutting edge technology to solve the problem. So I don't know. There's a parallel here with all of this in connection to the great Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution. And, of course, on this show, nations like China, we understand they're a communist country and they run things a little differently. And it's not the Chinese people per se, it's the Chinese government. But because we're always looking at things from a spiritual lens, there's things beyond that. The principalities and powers that control the regions, right? Or at least are trying to. So it's very obvious to those looking at it in that way that spiritually certain parts of the world would succumb to the desires of the watchers or the negative watchers. So there you go. I had those are a couple of things from China coming in about climate that overlaps with climate change and geoengineering. And I think it's very interesting. It's all demonic power.
Demonic power!
Climate change.
Climate change.